Welcome to your mat class using your Pilates ring. Now, if you do not have a Pilates ring, you will be able to do all the moves but one using either the Pilates ball or a yoga block. So all the moves except for one set of moves can be done using any of the props. And of course, you're always welcome to use no props. Keep that in mind. Let's get started with our ring nearby, laying down in a bridge for your warm-up. A nice long spine on your mat, feet tension free in front of you, shoulders tension free. And now just a few spinal articulations here to start warming up the core and the lower body. So you start with gently peeling away the tailbone, the lower back, the mid back, coming up to about hang top line here, shoulder blade line on the floor below you, arms just relaxed, and then lower bone by bone, starting with the mid back, tailbone. And you're welcome to rock through the spine if you'd like. Do what feels great for you as a warm-up here, really engaging the core, the glutes, the hamstrings, and melting back into the floor. Now we all have a spot where maybe there's a few vertebrae that love to stick together. This is the time to really focus on finding the movement. You can do hands to hips to know if one side is maybe lifting or lowering before the other. Good. Or to remind yourself to engage the core. So taking them at your own pace here, even weight in your feet. Good. Melt, 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 melt. Now in the next one, let's stay in a lift. It doesn't have to be crazy high. It can be lower in the air. Pinky finger to the mat below you. Palms face in towards your midline. Now start to float your arms up to the ceiling. Bring the pinky finger back down to the mat. So warming up the shoulder girdle. You can do all the arm movements we are about to do with hips on the ground, by the way. And gently lower. This time, pause when your hand is over your shoulder. And now send your arm almost away from you. So like your bicep is going to land by your ear, the side of your face, only as far as you can go with the arms before your posture starts to change, before your ribs pop open, your spine changes shape here. And tension-free hands. 2 more. Come back over the shoulder. 1 more. And then stay to the ceiling. Now the arms, can you reach them away from the floor so your shoulder blade comes off the mat? And then shoulder blades hug back onto the floor. So you reach away, hug the shoulder blades back to the floor. Reach. Taking them at your own pace here. 2 more. After your final one, shoulder blades back to the floor, pinky finger back to the floor. Melt into the floor bone by bone if you weren't already. Pick up your ring. And then find your bridge, hover again. We add a little squeeze to the ring, a little squeeze, squeeze, or whatever prop you're using. So if you're using the yoga block, there's not going to be much movement, but you can still add a little more tension, a little tension for 4, 3, 2. Good. Now keep the little squeeze going as you bring your arms back. And then little squeezes as you come back to the ceiling. Good. So only going in the direction of bringing biceps by the side of the head and back up. Good. Taking your time if you need to, no rush. 1 more and then find hand over shoulders and steady the pulses. So gentle hands on your prop, little hip lifts for 4, 3, 2. Good. Now gently melt the hips into the floor below you. You can bring the arms down. Make sure that you have plenty of space, that you haven't rolled off your mat or anything. Send your feet a little bit further away from your bottom on the ground for our half roll up. Now we will be using a prop in our hands. So have your prop in your hands. Feet You can play around with the first few reps to find where they need to be, but start by keeping your hand in front of your own shoulder the entire time. So they're not going behind you, they're not coming closer to your leg, in front of your own shoulder. Nod the chin, look towards your legs, and then heel the spine away from the floor. Come to seated. So if you need to scoot your feet further away from your booty, I find that helps. And then we melt into the mat bone by bone. Hands are over shoulders. Hello. And then peel away from the ground again. Now, if you're having trouble on the up, the next one, we will put our hands behind our hamstrings, so no prop. And you can use it as a little guide, a little assistance to lift yourself up. Goodbye. All right, and on the lower, same thing. You can do gentle hands behind hamstrings to help you lower. I find that it's sometimes nice to have a prop in between the hands, almost to help you lead. Right. So you peel, 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 sitting tall, and then we melt, melt, melt. In your next one, stay seated with a prop in between your hands. Bring it close to your chest. Now twist to the right, center, left, center, long arms, melt, melt, melt. Now when we add our twist again, when we're seated, keeping sit bones grounded the entire time. Knees aim at the ceiling. Let your face move in the direction that you twist. And you lower. You peel away from the floor, come to seated. Arms come close as you twist. Twist. Sounded like a cow. And then melt back to the floor. We have one more set. All right, so arms in close. Twist right, center, twist left, center, long arm, and melt. Make sure we're not falling to the ground below us. In the next one, you hold, bicep curl, in and out, in and out. Two more. One more. Excellent. Now you can do the curl with or without a prop in between your hands. If you're using the block or the ball, excellent. You're not adding extra pressure onto it, just focusing on the curl, keeping elbows same spot in the air. You do 4 curls, and then you melt back to the floor. Here comes our final set. 4, 3, 2, one more, and melt, melt, melt. In the next one, stay seated. We have 4 rounds of the different arm movements. You peel up, squeeze as you bring your prop in towards you, hold for 4, 3, 2, unsqueeze as you reach away, melt, melt, melt. So it's a squeeze, hold. Ready? Peel away from the floor, arms long, squeeze in towards you for 4, 3, 2, long arms, melt back to the ground below you. 2 more times. Squeeze, hold for 4, shoulders away from ears, 3, 2, long arms as you unsqueeze and melt. Last one. Up to seated, come in and hold the squeeze for 4, chin up the chest, 3, 2, long arms, melt and stay. You can do a long stretch, you can do a hug stretch, whatever feels good. You stay laying down for a little bit of laying core with your prop. So take your ring, put it against your left thigh in the air. So a tabletop left leg, right foot stays on the floor, right elbow comes to hold your prop. Now you can do it with the ball or the yoga block, of course. Now, keeping both hips grounded, add a squeeze to the ring that comes from your lower and your upper body. So you're getting a diagonal line of work across your core. Now, sometimes the pad of whatever ring you're using might not be too comfortable. So if that's the case, you're doing the same crisscross or bicycle crunch, whatever you might call it, for 4, 3, 2, without pulling on your neck. Come through center, set up for side 2. So right thigh, left elbow, And you do the same squeezes once your hips are grounded. Standing leg is grounded, arm and leg for 4, 3, 2, one more, center. All right, next round is a little bit different, but you start with the same setup. So I'm back to my left leg, right arm, but bring your left arm to meet it. That's right. So both your arms, ma'am. Stop it. Both your arms are on your prop, and now open the right elbow, come back to center. Open the left, come back to meet. Just one, then the other. Let your face go in the direction as well. For 4, 3, 2, one more. Reset for the other side. So right leg, both elbows, hips are grounded, and then you start your open, open. 5 is here with us today, running on doors. She's looking at the mirror now. I'm sure she'll run on that next. For 4, 3, 2, last one. And you may hug and rock or do the long stretch again, and then bring yourself to seated. Bye-bye. All right, so side leg time. Your ring goes to the front corner of your mat. Now take your bottom leg, and that happens to be my left leg. It will hold the ring. So this is the one that you can only use the Pilates ring for. The other props, it will not work. You can do it with no props. All right, back of you lines up against the back edge of your mat. Bottom knee has a little bend in it just to help stabilize. Top leg comes to the top of your ring, but it's just hanging out for the moment, so you don't have to worry about squeezing it or anything. And then upper body lays down. So spine is long, core is lifting away from the floor the entire time. And you can do a head pillow if that feels best, but I find that keeping crown of the head and spine same height really helps engage the core here. Now top leg, just float it ever so lightly above your ring. Now reach your femur away from your hip socket. From here, tap your ring, little lift, tap, little lift. Your knee stays parallel to the floor, so it's not aiming at the ground, it's not aiming at the ceiling. Core stays lifted, and you can do hand to hip, kickstand, or seat belt. They are each fantastic. Kickstand will give you the most support, by the way. Tap, lift for 4. Just trying to get in the closet. 3, 2, 5. One more, and then we hold above our ring just to hover. Now trace your ring forwards, come back up. Good. So you trace forward and back up. Can you do 2 more without the hip rocking? 1 more. Come back to the top. Here. 5. Out. Come on. Jump. Let's go. Jump. Exit. Exit. Go. Go, please. Just go. Same thing, but backwards. So you trace backwards without your knee changing direction. So your knee stays aiming in front of you the entire time. Your foot can graze the ring or the cat. Ooh, not forward, only back. 2 more. 5, come on. After your last one, come back up top and then do it together. So forward and back, and it's perfectly fine if you do not go super far. Maybe you're only going a quarter of the way down, a half of the way down, instead of tapping the floor. Totally normal. Up and over. 2 more each direction. 1 more, and then meet back on top. Allow your ankle, side of leg to rest on the ring, and then you add a little squeeze, little resist. Little squeeze, little resist. Squeeze. I'm doing a kickstand arm to help stabilize and lift. You have 4, 3, 2, one more. Come back to making the ring a circle. Hover your foot, thread the needle. So you bring your leg in, it hovers below the pad. Bring your leg out, hovers above the pad. Spine, try not to let it change shape. So you reach in, you reach out. You reach in, you reach out. We're here for 4, 3. We go to side 2 and 2. Side 2, let's do it. Do you want to leave? No? Okay. Ring, front corner of your mat. This time, my right leg is the one holding the ring to the ground. Side of my body on the mat. Top leg is just hanging out on the ring until we get situated. Spine, back edge of you, back edge of your mat. And then keep the hips, the core lifted. Hips stacked, bottom knee can be soft. And then from here, top leg is just hovering, and then it lifts a little, hovers. Lift, you can tap as long as you're not adding pressure. So the ring stays a ring shape. Top arm can be hand to hip. You'll know if your hips are rocking. Same with seat belt. Or kickstand will provide more balance. There, that's better. Up and tap, lift, tap. 4, 3, 2, one more. Come back to start. You're always welcome to rest in between on the ring if you need to. And then you trace forward. And your leg can be super close. That's fine. Come back to start. Trace forward again. Knee stays pointing in front of you. Core engages a lot. We're here 2 more times before we go backwards. And this is a move that maybe one leg has a different range than the other, and that's normal. So you draw the circle backwards. Come back to start. Backwards. Come back to start. Backwards. All right. 2 more times before we put it together. All right, come back to start, and let's do both of them. So forward, up and over. All right. You trace the ring forward. Trace the ring backwards. And you'll do it for 4, 3, 2. Find the top of the ring. Take a little ring break if you need it. Hover before you add your thread the needle in. Hover below the ring. Thread the needle out. So threading in, threading out. Keeping hips squared, not letting them rock forward and back as you thread. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. All right, a little plank time. No props needed. You can be hands, elbows, or 2/5. I will do a little bit of everything. So we have 3 planks coming up. You are always welcome to hold center if that works best for you. Starting with your center plank, hips, shoulders stay high in the air no matter what type of plank you're in. And I like to do feet hip distance. Now making sure the shoulder blades aren't flying away. You lift your chest, you lift your abs in towards your spine, up towards your ribs. Now a little knee jog. Crown of head aiming at the wall in front of you. You only bend and lengthen your legs as far as you can without the hips bouncing. You're here for 4, 3, 2. Come back to center, reset. You can lower the knees. Now, you can, again, hands, elbows, whatever feels best, just showing you the options. If you're doing forearms, they are parallel. And then both knees, little bend and lengthen without the hips bouncing. So little bend and lengthen, keep the core lifted, crown of head to the wall in front of you, bend, lengthen, 4 more, 3, 2, 1 more, gently lower long arms, hips back, beautiful. Are you coming back in? Lay down for our bridge. Have your prop nearby. Now the prop begins in your hands. That's right, you heard me correct. It will be moved. So prop will be in between your two hands over your chest. Now, lower body for your bridge. Knee over ankle or slightly behind your ankle. Hips don't have to be crazy high, just a fist distance. Hips are level though. Upper body tension free, so let the shoulders relax into the floor below you. Do gentle elbows and then small hip lift. So using core, glute, hamstring. Tiny lift and lower for 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Hold your bridge lift. Heel lifts alternate right, left, right, and left. Now at any point if the add-ons are not for you, you go back to the hip pulses that we were just in. So you lift and lift. The hips stay as silent as possible. Now if you'd like to get the arms involved, they lower like a narrow row motion and lift. Lower and lift. We're not adding any extra pressure. We're just moving the arms, little balance challenge, little brain challenge. And the more muscle groups you work at the same time, adds a little cardio to it, doesn't it? For 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Hands to ceiling, relax the feet into the mat. If you need to, reset for your bridge here. Now, your ring, your props, bring one leg to tabletop, tap your prop to it, come back to the ceiling. So keep the lower body stable. Hands start to lower, tap, and lift. Hips are level. 4, 3, 2, we will build on. 1 more. Now, when you bring your ring, your prop over your face, lengthen so your inner thighs are parallel. Come back in. Reach away. Ring comes over your face or prop over your face. Tap in. Prop over your face for 4. Hips are level. 3, 2, 1 more. Center, reposition. Now, if single leg work isn't your jam, I understand. You are welcome to keep both feet on the ground and do the arm motions instead. Bringing the prop over your face again. Float the other leg to tabletop. You're welcome to hold center always. And then you tap. Ring comes over your face. Tap your thigh over your face. Tap. So it's a small range, isn't it? Yeah. And you're using whatever prop you have here or no props between your hands. 2 more before we add the leg movement. Are you ready? Away, in, away, in, without letting your hip drop in the air. So a lot of stabilization through the core of the standing leg. 2 more. 1 more. Tap and lower. Take your prop, put it mid-thigh. Now, the rings, they're all a little bit different. If yours isn't as squeezy, new word, as mine, you're welcome to do it without it or swap the prop. But your feet, legs, you're holding the prop mid-thigh, and you do have the ability to add a little bit more pressure. A little bit more pressure. The hips stay stable right now. Even weight in both feet, a little extra squeeze, a little release. But we're never, no tension. That's a wall. We're never losing all the tension. For 4, 3, and the ankles aren't rocking. 2. Can you hold 1 more for 4? Hold the squeeze. 3, 2, little unsqueeze, and then little hip lift. Little lifts for 4. You can float your arms again if you want, or the half arm lift. 3, or hands to hips. 2. Hold. We alternate. So 1 squeeze, 1 hip pulse. Squeeze and hip pulse. Squeeze and lift. Squeeze, lift. 4, 3, 2, last set, and then remove your prop, melt into the ground bone by bone, prop to the side. You can lengthen, you can hug, but you rock yourself to seated for your final move when you're ready. We have some push-ups, and they can be from a tabletop, a knee plank, or a full plank. You go where it feels best for you today. Your hands can be slightly outside of your shoulders. When we do them, the elbows aim 45 degrees. So they're not 90. They're not 0, I guess. 45. All right. And here we go. We are doing a series of 8 followed by a hold. So you have 4, keeping spine long, 3, that's right, this is the first round of 4. Ready? Here's your final 4, spine long, don't let the neck take over. I'm holding your ponytail or your imaginary ponytail. Here comes your last one. Hold for 4, or abs in, 3, 2. Are you ready? Send the hips back, child's pose. Long arms. While you're here, take your hands, walk them outside one edge of your mat, get a nice side body stretch. Come through center when you need to stretch the other side of your body. When you decide to come back to center, take your time coming to seated. A nice shoulder roll down and back. Look right, look left. Hand twirl, just ever so gentle. We are not on the hands a ton today, but it does feel nice, doesn't it? Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. If you're looking for more mat-based workouts, you have found the right place. Go check out my other videos. And as always, let me know what other ones you'd like to see in the comments.